Hi there, thanks for joining us. We are in active weather coverage. I'm Emily Vukovic, and these are the developing stories that we're watching for you. Messy system on the way through parts of Ontario. Who is going to see some snow and who's going to be dealing with slick road conditions? All of those details ahead. First, we take a live look at Barrie, Ontario. Not a bad start to the day, but we do have some wet weather on the way. And for you in Barrie, it is going to be including snow. We do have a special weather statement issued by Environment Canada talking about the potential for rain and wet snow moving in tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. Now, the snowfall accumulations, some of them are really going to be varied. Now, when you look at this map and you see the blue, and don't freak out. You're not thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to get tons and tons of snow, because in through the Niagara region, this blue is not showing up very accurately. We're looking at like less than 2 centimeters for Niagara, all rain. GTA, primarily all rain. Higher elevations, that's where we could see that accumulating snow, and really from Georgian Bay all the way over towards kind of the Ottawa Valley, that's where we're going to be seeing that heavier snowfall. So in comes the low. Starts off as that initial shot of snow just ahead of that warm front with that cold air coming in from that area of high pressure. It goes clockwise, so we're seeing northeasterly winds. Burst of snow into the southwest, and then we primarily change over into rain through the GTA. Snow accumulation up through cottage country, and then this low is going to track its way east, bringing in a couple of centimeters of wet snow through Ottawa and then into Atlantic Canada, but it's going to be too warm for snow. We're looking at primarily all rain, but this low is going to intensify, pick up a little bit of moisture from the Atlantic, and then it's going to be bringing in some heavier rain throughout the day on Friday and into Saturday. It will move all the way up towards Newfoundland, and it is going to be fairly gusty as well. Again, we are going to be having coastal winds about 80 to 110 kilometers an hour. Through the interior, we're looking at winds 60 to 90 kilometers an hour. Okay, question of the day. What part of snow are you actually looking forward to? Skiing and snowboarding, snowball fights, making a snowman, or other? I kind of say other. I'm in with the other because I think the first snowfall is really romantic. It's so nice when you're inside watching it fall. It's so pretty. Up to the single digits, but then they rise. They get up into the teens by the afternoon. I mean, places like Lethbridge, mid-teens yesterday. So we still could see some patchy fog to start the day, but then that will start to dissipate. Here's Chrissy Van. Work. Awesome. Thanks so much, Chrissy. Make sure you stay with us because in 6 minutes we have pictures from you in Scare Your Weather.
Friend. Today's weather calls for a 100% chance of suck it up. Fisherman's Friend, the cough, cold, and complaining remedy.
Thanks for joining us. Your Weather Watch continues. I'm Emily Vukovic, and this trough to the west is really starting to keep things unsettled. We've got another fairly wet and cool day. Temperatures are going to be below seasonal averages. We're keeping with our forecast of about 20 to 40 millimeters of rain through Thursday for Vancouver and 70 to 100 through parts of the island. Wow. Yeah. Snow. It's that time of year we start to see that transition, right? Okay, so we do have snow on the way for parts of Ontario. Now, it's not necessarily going to be in the GTA. You're going to be mostly all rain, but places like Kitchener, Waterloo, even in through Guelph, Cambridge, as far south as Milton, potentially a little bit of wet snow as that initial system starts to move through, and then it will transition over into some rain. So it's going to be a wet and messy system regardless. Wet snow a little bit more across the northern prairies. We're dealing with patchy fog and freezing fog throughout the day today across the prairies. And through Atlantic Canada, well, that system that's going to move through Ontario, that will intensify when it gets into the Atlantic, and it is going to be bringing periods of rain over the weekend. And it's also going to be very gusty. We could see coastal winds up to 110 kilometers an hour, anywhere from 80 to 110 kilometers an hour. And in through the interior, we're looking at 60 to 90 kilometers an hour. So windy and wet for you in the Atlantic provinces. Okay, it is time now for Scare Your Weather. In through Calgary, people get excited for Halloween. Honk for Halloween. Oh, they actually have a skeleton like hanging there. I love it. Enter at your own risk. People are in Edmonton and you're going to be trick-or-treating. Well, it's only 3 degrees as a daytime high, so expect evening temperatures to be lower than that, obviously. So maybe some snow pants for the kids underneath their costume. If you're in Regina, 4 degrees, a lot of overcast conditions in through Ottawa. It's going to be a nice day on Monday, lots of sunshine, but temperatures will be cooling down. Stay with us. Your local details are coming right up. And today, well, we do have a special weather statement regarding snow and rain. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks for joining us. We are going to be seeing wet snow developing tonight and into tomorrow, and Environment Canada has issued the special weather statement talking about the potential for very slippery conditions. Accumulating snowfall amounts, we're looking at about 2 to 5 centimeters for areas through the Dundalk Highlands up through Orangeville. 5 to 15 centimeters, that should be a 10. That shouldn't be 15. We're not looking at that much. Where we are going to be seeing kind of the heaviest snow is going to be through Georgian Bay all the way over towards the eastern townships, not eastern townships, Ottawa Valley rather. We are going to continue to see this transition over into rain, and we are going to be seeing very windy conditions as well. It's going to be a northeasterly wind, so really brisk. It's going to be one of those days where you're just like, oh, you brace yourself when you go outside, pretty much throughout southern Ontario, whether or not you're dealing with snow or rain. You've got wind gusts at about 40 to 70 kilometers an hour. Such a contrast come Saturday. Once all this snow and rain moves out of the way, we've got another system coming through. This one giving us a push of warm air, so Toronto getting up to 16. The winds are 19, but feeling like 22. A little bit of humidity. Contrast, look at Ottawa, 11, feeling like 9. Now, across the prairie provinces, we do have a little bit more wet snow on the way. We're looking at about 4 to 8 additional centimeters and some patchy fog and some freezing fog early in the day that will dissipate. Chrissy Van's been having a great time in BC. Here she is now. All right, all the goblins and ghouls are going to be out trick-or-treating on Monday. What's the forecast like? Wet for you on the west coast for Vancouver. Cool right across the prairie provinces. Think snow pants for the kids. It's going to be relatively mild through some of the maritime provinces and through Ontario, Toronto getting up to 11, but certainly going to be cooler in the evening. Hi there, thanks so much for joining us. We are in active weather coverage. I'm Emily Vukovic, and these are the developing stories we're following for you. Messy system on the way. Who is going to see the snow? And we could be dealing with some very slick road conditions. We take you live to Ottawa, Ontario, where we are seeing a little bit of blue sky, but we do have that system on the way that is going to be bringing you rain and snow and possibly even a little bit of mixing in between. We've got rain and wet snow through Thursday. Environment Canada has issued this special weather statement talking about very slippery conditions. Snowfall totals, well, we're looking at the potential of about 2 centimeters through areas around Kitchener, Waterloo, through Cambridge, but areas north of that through Orangeville, 5 to 10. This shouldn't be a 15, this should be a 10. And then anywhere kind of the shores of Georgian Bay over towards the Ottawa Valley, that's where we could see that heavier 5 to 15 centimeters of very slushy, wet snow. Now, once we get this initial burst of snow, everything is going to be transitioning over into rain down towards the southwest. Now, we've got this area of high pressure bringing in those very cold northeasterly winds, and they're going to be gusting up to about 40 to 70 kilometers an hour. And we are going to be seeing snow accumulation through cottage country. You know, Collingwood, you got your first shot of snow yesterday, a couple of centimeters, a little bit more on the way. And then for the weekend, all of it's going to melt because we've got a new system coming in, and this one is going to be primarily rain. Now, through Atlantic Canada, we do have this low intensifying as it moves into the Atlantic, so we are going to be seeing fairly wet conditions for you through the maritime provinces, and not only is it going to be wet, it is going to be windy through Newfoundland. Again, we are going to be seeing northerly winds coming in. We're looking at winds gusting 80 to 110 kilometers an hour through the interior, 60 to 90. Okay, your question of the day, which part of snow are you actually looking forward to? Most people are saying other, but I think a lot of people, yep, skiing and snowboarding, that's certainly up there. Getting up to about 16, 17 degrees through southern Saskatchewan, a very mild forecast as well. Now, we do have a little bit more wet snow on the way to the north, about 4 to 8 centimeters, some patchy fog, and some little pockets of moisture firing up along that trough. Now, we are going to continue to see very unsettled conditions throughout British Columbia. We're still looking at 20 to 40 millimeters through much of the lower mainland and through the island at 70 to 100 millimeters of rain. And it's also going to be fairly windy for the next couple of days. So a wet and windy forecast today. You'll get a bit of a break come Friday, and then Saturday, new system comes on shore. Okay, coming up, your local forecast details. We also have Force of Nature, some really cool video, and we'll have your Canada-wide snowcast in 6. Hi there, I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for joining us. We are talking about unsettled conditions for you in British Columbia for yet another day, today and into tomorrow. It will start to ease, and by Friday you'll actually see a bit of a break. But total rainfall amounts, we're looking at anywhere between 70 to 90 millimeters of rain through Tofino and about 20 to 40 millimeters through the lower mainland. Is more on the way. We've got a very messy system that's going to be tracking its way through Ontario starting tonight and into tomorrow. Rain and snow all the way up towards Quebec. Here's Chris Murphy now with It's Snowing Somewhere. All right, thanks so much, Chris. We are going to be seeing periods of rain this weekend to the east. That low moving through Ontario will actually pick up in intensity once it hits into the Atlantic and draws up some moisture. So we're going to be seeing heavier rain with the potential for very gusty conditions as well. It's such a contrast to the east where we are seeing temperatures along this warm front and south getting up into the mid-teens for Saturday. And to the north, well, we're looking at cooler temperatures. Okay, but you do have some snow and rain showers on the way with this lingering eastern low. They will taper off though, and it is going to be fairly gusty this weekend. Now in Ontario, we sometimes think of raccoons as pests, but check this out. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Halloween forecast in 7 minutes. Thanks, Kevin. I'm Emily Vukovic. Thank you for joining us. We've been talking about the rain and the snow, and Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement talking about very slippery conditions, accumulating snow up through cottage country, 5 to 10 centimeters just north of Orangeville. If you're traveling from Barrie down through Toronto, you'll start off in snow for your morning commute through Thursday, and then you'll transition into rain because that is what's going to be the issue for most of the Southwest. We will, however, start off with that initial shot of snow just ahead of that warm front, but then staying fairly consistent rain through much of the Niagara region, through Hamilton, and through Toronto, Mississauga, all the way out towards Kingston. Potentially could see a little bit of shot of wet snow through Kingston, and then the snow continues to track its way northeast. Now we're going to be dealing with a very raw northeasterly wind, so it's going to be cold throughout southern Ontario tomorrow and into Friday. Wet and windy on Wednesday for you, the coast of BC. That would be today, yes. Brief dry period for Friday, and then we do have another system on the way for the weekend, so it is going to get fairly damp, that's for sure. But enjoy that day on Friday where you do see that bit of a break. Okay, across the prairie provinces, we've been dealing with warmth, which has been awesome. A lot of people have been loving these temperatures in the mid-teens, and it's going to continue for today, but we will cool down by the weekend. We'll talk about that right now in your Long Ranger. And we're going to touch on trick-or-treating. Everybody is so excited for Halloween. What's the forecast going to be like in your area? Well, we do have single-digit temperatures right across the prairie provinces, only 4 degrees through Regina, so think possibly snow pants by the evening for the kids. 11 in Vancouver, you'll need an umbrella. It's probably, if it's not your first trick-or-treating in Vancouver, you know that's sometimes, the deal. We are going to be seeing fairly mild conditions to the east, but again, make sure you bundle up the kids in the evening because it is certainly going to be colder than those daytime highs.
To help you rise and shine.
Conditions, all of those details ahead. First, we take a live look at Barrie, Ontario. Not a bad start to the day, but we do have some wet weather on the way, and for you in Barrie, it is going to be including snow. Now, the snowfall accumulations, some of them are really going to be varied. Now, when you look at this map and you see the blue, and don't freak out. You're not thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to get tons and tons of snow, because in through the Niagara region, this blue is not showing up very accurately. Meteorologist Dr. Doug Gillum joins me now. And Doug, we're looking ahead to the weekend. What's going on Saturday right across the country?
Well, we have rather quiet weather for central and western Canada. A couple of systems bringing some active weather to the eastern side of the country. As we look at temperatures, final weekend of October, most places not too far off of where we should be this time of year. But something stands out. Southern Ontario, where we have some wintry weather on Thursday. We have temperatures really briefly rebounding. Halifax at 14 as well. And let's zoom in to southern Ontario. We'll see 19 in Windsor. Now the warm-up short-lived. It will be cooler on Sunday. We will have a period of showers, especially early in the day, some drying out in the afternoon. On Sunday, again, fairly quiet, but a developing storm system south of the border, east of the Rockies will become our weather story as we go into Halloween.
Okay, yeah, Halloween. Everybody wants to know ghosts and goblins. They're going to be trick-or-treating. The central portion of the country, northern prairies, we're thinking snow pants, possibly, not parkas, but like those ponchos, rain ponchos.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be rain in northern Ontario. The southwesterly winds bringing in some milder temperatures, but Atlantic Canada looks quiet. Looks like the system stays offshore. Can't rule out a few showers along the south coast of BC, but no major storm systems. We look at temperatures. Again, nothing really stands out. No one's really balmy, but we don't have any deep freeze temperatures anywhere. Of course, for trick-or-treating, keep in mind in the evening, temperatures will be a few degrees cooler. And then as you go to the first day of November, Southern Ontario, Toronto, 18 degrees, and a closer look reveals. I know you're excited.
I cannot even contain it.
19 in London, 21 in Windsor. What a way to start November.
That is incredible. I mean, Ottawa, nation's capital, up to 14 degrees. I mean, mix of sun and cloud. I really don't think people could ask for a better forecast. Now, looking at the rest of the month, or early November.
Overall, above seasonal temperatures dominate early November, but quite a pattern change mid and late month.
All right, thanks so much, Doug.